Hi, welcome back
to Security All-Star
and SRL Solutions.
That's right.
We're doing a combined videos for both our YouTube channels. So hopefully some of his subscribers can come to my page and vice versa and find good information on both sites.
They're going to get better information about prepping and preparedness from you and some probably more detailed information about guns, firearms, ammunition, and security systems from me.
When I make my decisions about the different aspects of preparedness and self-reliant living, it's people like him where I go to for advice. And when I started in this whole thing, especially with guns, it was almost dumbfounding trying to figure out.
It's a lot of stuff.
I mean, just even caliber, just winding through my head, and everybody goes through stuff so quick, and I'm like, whoa.
And everybody in the gun world has an opinion, like a very extreme opinion. Yeah. So I'm going to pitch you like 3 topics, and so this is completely extemporaneous, right? Like we're just kind of shooting from the hip, or pulling it out.
No pun intended.
Or something like that. Well, I can shoot from the hip too. So so let's talk about 1 of 3 topics. Either the best concealed carry gun, the best ammo for, now this is what we're talking about, like this is for new people. People are trying to make the decision. Best carry gun, best ammo, or the best, most widely recognized tactical gun. Handgun, not rifle, handgun.
Personal protection.
Personal protection. All right, so
Carrying.
I'm going to fly through this as quick as possible because a lot of guys want to get like 10-minute videos like talking about one detail, and I don't want to do that.
Well, let me tell them real quick what I bought for myself. And then you can go into more technical stuff and the reason why I bought mine. It's kind of stupid, but my original gun years ago was a revolver, a 357.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a good decision.
So, but it was so heavy. It was a Rossi, and it just, no matter how tight I
New
tightened my
definition
belt,
of sag, right?
it sagged all the way down.
Yeah.
So I ended up going with an LCR.
Ruger? It's a Ruger?
The Ruger LCR. Because it'll do, I had lots of 357 and 38.
Yep.
And that's why I also went with a revolver, because it could do both calibers. So as a
357 will do both, yes.
Yeah. So that's why I went with that one, but I still like to someday probably go with some sort of 9mm, and that was when I asked you the other day, what's your opinion on what else other than that revolver, a semi-automatic gun would you prefer? I guess would be for a man in this topic.
It's going to be for both. Whether it's a man or a woman, there are exceptions to every rule, but I'm going to treat this like you're watching this video because you're not where we are. I mean, you're not where you were. You're where you were like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or you are where you were like 5 years ago. I will tell you there's a lot. Got it? Yeah, something like that. There's a lot of opinions about this, but I'm going to tell you that the military and law enforcement and the guys that got trained on certain guns and certain ammo, and that's what they were taught to use, have a very specific opinion about what you should or shouldn't use. But there's ballistic tests. You can go find ballistic tests if you want to look them up. So I'm not going to argue ballistic tests. I'm going to argue a couple of points when it comes to the best carry gun based on cost, availability, ease of use, cost, availability, ease of use, and stopping power. So 4 things, okay? So first of all, I laid out a few things here. I didn't lay out 357, 38, 40 cal. I didn't lay out a bunch of ammo because I'm going to tell you right now the most widely used stopping power and ammo is 9mm, okay? Now, if you look at the ballistics, there's a lot of things to argue about that, but here's why I think most people who are starting out should go with a 9mm. It's less expensive than a 40 or 45. It's lighter to carry. And it's not like shooting a very, very small caliber. So when you look at cost, a 22 long rifle is going to be your cheapest. It's like 6 or 7 cents a shot.
Well, and that goes up and down. For a while there, it was like $100.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't get it anywhere. It was like, but you couldn't get it. But if you look at the difference between those two, and you can probably zoom in on this, on editing, the 9mm is much bigger. Average is about 17 cents per shot right now versus 7 cents a shot. But it's also fairly light compared to a 45 caliber. The cost on this compared to anything bigger, even compared to a 38 or a 357 right now. You get 10 millimeter, 10 millimeters bigger, 40 cals bigger, 45. Those are all fairly common rounds. This is the most popular still, and I don't know if people realize this. A lot of military and law enforcement just dropped 40 cal. They're going back to 9 millimeter.
Well, and how many most of the guns? What's the average of how many rounds you can get in a semi-automatic?
Okay, good
9
question.
millimeter?
Let me answer. I'm going to answer the question with a question
Okay.
first.
The only reason why I say that is because my 357 38 gun revolver has 5 shots in it.
Yeah, and 5 to 6 is the average. You can get some 9 shots, but they're 22s. They're not 38 or 357.
Yeah.
So before I answer your question, do you know how long the average self-protection gunfight lasts? Like somebody mugs you in Walmart parking lot, how long does that average altercation last?
I'd say, 10 seconds?
About 3 seconds.
Really?
Yeah. Now this is once a gun is drawn.
Yeah.
What's the average number of shots fired?
Probably none.
If shots are okay, let me rephrase the question. If a shot is fired, what's the average number of shots?
I guess that all depends on the person and how well trained they are as far as...
Well, there's a statistic. It's about 2 to 3. So it's about 2 to 3 seconds, 2 to 3 shots. They're over pretty fast. So in 95% of instances, your revolver honestly is a very good concealed carry gun. But there's a problem with weight, pant sag, and those type of things. I mean, revolvers are heavy.
Yeah.
So
and mine to get it smaller is a snub nose, which then you kind of give up accuracy.
So I'm going to clear, okay? 9 millimeter. This is a SIG P365. So SIG P365 is a great carry gun. There's a lot of good carry guns now that are about this weight, that are 9 millimeter. And the cost on the guns is about the same. The cost on the ammo is about the same. The cost on availability of these. And again, this has got 10 and 1. I really don't like having 5 rounds. But if you get in a gunshot, statistics say 95% of the time, you're going to have enough rounds with 10 and 1.
Yeah, but you know what that's also nicer, though, too, is just going to the range. Having to fill up every 5 is no fun.
And then you got to flip it out, and you got to, move it and get it. Yeah. So there's a lot of nice things to be said for a semi-automatic pistol. Now, I'm going to recommend a couple pistols real quick. SIG P365, Glock 43X, Glock 48. Those are probably the most popular carry guns that we're looking at right now. But
now it's come from a preparedness side of it too, though. When I did my research and asking you and asking all these other people, the Glock 19 also is a gun that a lot of people. It's kind of like almost like a Ford Explorer. It's like there's so many out there that if you have to interchange parts in a poop hits the fan.
So we're getting off.
But it's heavier.
We're getting off topic, but it's all right. So
that's what I do.
We're both very, very proficient at it. If you're looking for tactical, we're going to come back and let's do a tactical discussion in another video. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Glock 19. This is a cool one too. You can zoom in on this. Glock 19. They are the most popular guns among all law enforcement and among all military. A little heavy for a carry gun.
Yes.
Shoots. It holds 15 in 1, 15 rounds in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. Shoots a 9 millimeter. And the thing you want to make sure that you get, because I was trying to get towards like ammo, is you want to make sure you get a gun that will shoot plus P, or that will shoot a hot round that's also a self-protective round. You don't want to shoot. Tell me what you know about this round right here.
Full metal jacket.
Yes.
It's cheaper for. It's nice for going on the range.
Exactly. It's a target round.
Yeah.
Now, what do you know about that round?
That expands and mushrooms quickly in a body for stopping from doing the most amount of damage.
If you're talking like law enforcement, it's to mitigate a threat, right? Stopping power, mitigate a threat. This is
I didn't know there was going to be a test. I would have studied.
This is a Remington Black Belt. I personally, most of the time, carry a HydroShock. The easiest gun to use is always going to be a revolver. Without a doubt, the way a revolver works, you just pull the trigger and it keeps on shooting.
And it has the least amount of parts.
You don't have to load a chamber. Once you pull the trigger, it's kind of like, now this is also a pretty easy gun. You pull the trigger and it keeps shooting, but you don't have to load one in the chamber the first time. A lot of people love revolvers because of simplicity. I will never ever tell you that carrying a revolver is a bad decision. The only real factor and the reason I don't carry one is because that middle cylinder is large. It doesn't sit very tight to your side, and like we said, they're heavy. Carry half the rounds and they're heavier.
Now the LCR that I have,
good gun,
is lightweight, snub nose. It has a tamer in the grip, which doesn't kick as much as without it.
Yes,
and it's actually very accurate for a snub nose.
Let me go to a negative about the LCR and about this gun and about a gun this size. The smaller the gun, the lighter the gun, the less weight you have holding that nose of the gun down and also coming back at you when there's recoil. A lot of women want a smaller gun because it fits their hands better, and quite honestly, they're easier to rack. This is a pretty easy gun to rack. This is what the same gun my wife carries here. I would never recommend anybody carry this unless you have really weak hands, and she has weak hands. But the thing that women deal with and other people deal with that they don't expect out of a light gun, even if it's a 9mm, is you get a lot more recoil than you do out of a Glock 19. That's the reason this is kind of the best mid-grade gun. You can buy guns for under $200. Believe it or not, they're out there. There's a 9mm right now that's a good gut gun. And the reason they call it a gut gun is because when you're this close, literally it's, you're wanting to just shoot somebody close, or you're not going to have to aim with it. It's called a Taurus Spectrum. It's actually got pretty good reviews. But beyond being pretty close, you're not going to be able to hit much with it. So when you're looking at a gun, from that $400 range all the way up to about a $550 range, you can find a lot of guns in there in that 9mm that are just really, really good guns. And on the lower end, a Canik, C-A-N-I-K, a Canik is a very good gun. It's modeled after the Glock. You step up a little bit to that entry-level Glock, the Glock 43X or the Glock 48, you're talking about a little over $400. You step up to a SIG, which there's some differences between the guns we're not going to talk about today. A little more money, in my opinion, a little bit better gun, but you want to pull that gun out and have it work every single time. If you buy a $200 gun, and there's several of them I won't say the names of them, I'm not going to badmouth guns, but there's several, I would never depend my life on them.
No, it's just like a car. You always spend the money on the tires because that's what's holding you to the road. And if you're actually going to pull a gun on somebody, there's only one reason why you're pulling a gun out, and you want to make sure it works. Yeah. Because then they're going to be doing whatever they were gonna do that you were pulling a gun on them for.
And going back to the revolver, that's one thing I've never ever been a part. I'm sitting here thinking about it. I've never ever anywhere been or seen or been involved in or heard about a failure with a revolver. I'm sure they exist, but they're just few and far between. Revolvers work every time you pull the trigger.
The only problem with the revolver is, now mine is a hammerless one, but it's double action and single action. But in other words, when you pull that trigger, it actually has to pull back that hammer each time, where a semi-automatic is a lot smoother.
Yeah, it is. So if you're new and you're wanting, you're wanting some decent gun advice, I highly, highly recommend that you look. And we can come back and talk about smaller rounds later, why you don't want them. Go look up ballistics. There's a lot of people that are smarter than me that have done videos on this. But if you're looking for entry-level price, a Glock 43X is a great one. I would get a 9mm before I'd get anything else. If you absolutely cannot rack a 9mm, I'd suggest taking some classes, but I haven't seen a man yet that couldn't rack a 9mm. I've had some that were hard for me to rack, especially new, but I would not recommend anything less than a 9mm.
And with you saying that about training, no matter what you buy in any guns, but especially handguns, you need to go get training on how to handle it. I went to a group with Brad and a bunch of other friends that were veterans, and it's amazing how much I learned in one day, and actually not asking for the advice, but as they're watching me shoot, say, hey, why don't you try this or try that? And it makes a huge amount of difference in practice. It's like a piano. You got to practice on the range to feel comfortable, especially when adrenaline starts pumping very quickly.
Oh yeah, your whole world changes. Your whole thought process changes. Your body, your mechanical skills, everything changes like instantaneously. I got no snap anymore.
So for the people that are watching this on my YouTube channel, again, securityallstar.com on the website, but also securityallstar.com on the YouTube. He's got a lot of different videos on security systems, tactical gear, and guns. And he has lots of great deals on that site every single day.
Hey, and SRL Solutions, self-reliant solution, self-reliant.
Self-reliant.
Well, that's kind of a tongue twister, isn't it?
Self-reliant living through preparedness.
SRL. Yeah, there you go. Thanks.
Thank
Like
you.
and subscribe.
Thanks for watching this episode. I hope it was instructional. Click on more of my videos to expand your knowledge and become more self-reliant as we learn together.